Holy shit, that's bright. That's a good. Bring it down a bit. So I got a ring light, as you can see in my eyes. You know it. What's up, gang? It's your boy Trash Can Riley, your man, the man, Trash Can Riley. You know it. We got our ponytail back. We're back for our review of WrestleMania 37. This time it's night 2. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's do it, buddy. Alright, so the first match was the weakest match on the show. It was Randy Orton versus the Fiend Bray Wyatt. That was very short and confusing, and I don't know how else to describe it. They had the red lighting back for the Fiend match, which was stupid to begin with, so I don't know why they brought it back, but they did. So can't do anything about that. It was very boring, and it wasn't boring. It wasn't boring. It was just short and like, okay, what was that, you know? So the Fiend, nope. Randy Orton won that, cause Alexa Bliss, she, like, the Fiend showed up in like what it was called? Jack in the Box. He showed up in a Jack in the Box. That was his entrance, and Alexa Bliss just like popped out of that. She already entered, but then she like popped out of that, and with like weird black stuff coming, weird ink or something coming down her head all the time, and it was confusing. So then the Randy Orton did the RKO to the Fiend and won. I don't know. It was pretty stupid, honestly. And the Fiend, I don't think the Fiend should really lose at all. Alright, so the match after that, it was Tamina and Natalya versus Nyah Jax and Shayna Baszler. Honestly, that match surprised me, because Nyah Jax and Tamina aren't good wrestlers. They're not good at their job. And they should get better, probably. I'm just playing with this. And they should probably get better if they want to be better, you know? Like, Tamina's improving. Nyah Jax, I mean, she did, like, a few cool things, I guess. But it was a pretty good match, honestly. The fans were behind Tamina quite a bit for some reason. But it was a pretty good match. And the people who won that match, it was Shayna Baszler versus Nyah Jax. Shayna Baszler and Nyah Jax won that match. I guess, like, the biggest thing in the match was, like, can Tamina slam her cousin, Nyah Jax? Because they're related. Because they're part of, like, the big Samoan family in wrestling, you know, that has, like, Dwayne Johnson, Roman Reigns, the Usos, the Wild Samoans, Rocky Johnson, Tamina, Nyah Jax, Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Basically, just every single Samoan wrestler there is in that family. So, yeah, they had like history there. It was pretty good. Tamina, it seems like she trained more than she usually does. That was for the Women's Tag Team Championships. If I mentioned that, I'll see if I did in editing, and then I'll just delete this. But if I didn't, I mentioned it now. I forgot this too. Nyah Jax and Shayna Baszler were the Tag Team Champions. So the match after that, it was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens with Logan Paul at ringside. They hated Logan Paul in the audience for, like, you know, pretty obvious reasons. I think we all know what they are. Makes sense. But they were booing Logan Paul quite a bit when he entered. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting more cheers than that, but no, they're booing him, and I was like, okay, yeah, I see, I understand. That was a really good match. That was probably one of the best matches on the show, because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have had history. They've been friends for 15 years, and they've had rivalries in the indies and all that. So they've had plenty history, and they have had plenty good matches. And Kevin Owens won that match. And the best part of the match was probably when, not the best part of the match, but a really good, cool part of the match was the end of the match when Logan Paul pushed Sami Zayn, and people booed him even harder. So then, and he was like cheered. He was like, "Good job, Kevin Owens, you won the match. Congratulations." And then Kevin Owens did a stunner to Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
He sold it pretty well, honestly, for his first time selling. It was pretty good. So the match after that, it was Sheamus versus Matt Riddle for the United States Championship. Matt Riddle was the United States Champion. That was also a really good match. Sheamus ended up winning with an insane broad kick. Like, Matt Riddle was doing like a springboard moonsault, and then Sheamus just did the broad kick to him, and I'm pretty sure he knocked out a tooth on Matt Riddle, because his mouth was like really bleeding.
Off the second rope, Sheamus with a broad kick.
But good match. That was probably the coolest part of the match, the best spot of the match. I'm glad that Sheamus won the title, because he definitely deserved a championship, like at least one championship this year. Well, listen, from last year. But he definitely deserved a championship, and I'm glad he got it, because he's good. All he needs is the Intercontinental Champion, then he's the Grand Slam champion. The match after that was Apollo versus Biggie for the Intercontinental Championship in a Nigerian drum match, which is basically just a Extreme Rules match, just with drums on the outside and a gong too. You know, those big things that you hit, like dong, a gong on the outside. That match, it was disappointing, honestly. It was really short, and I was expecting like a good long match, but no, it wasn't. Biggie was champion, and he lost the championship. And because this big guy from Raw Underground a while ago, you probably don't know what I'm talking about if you're just a regular subscriber from me. But if you're a wrestling fan and you're watching this, you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, there was this big guy from Raw Underground, the failed thing that WB tried to do. And he just came in and beat up Biggie, then pulled Apollo onto Biggie, and then Apollo pinned him and won the championship. Cool, you know, I like how they're giving Apollo Crews a push, because he deserves a push, because he's very good. And I think he's going to be like a pretty big name one day, you know. If they keep on pushing him like this, maybe not like this, like actually doing stuff by himself, then he could probably be world champion one day. Right now he's just Intercontinental champion, which is also cool. The other match, which was the match before the main event, it was Auska versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. Auska was women's champion. She held the championship for so long and didn't do shit with that title. So, kind of glad she lost it. I'm kind of glad she lost it because she wasn't doing anything with it. So yeah, Rhea Ripley won. The story was awful, and I don't think she really deserved it yet. Like, definitely, she definitely deserves it, like, future in her career, but, like, I don't think she deserved it quite yet, because she didn't really do anything. She just came in and said, I wanted the match, and then Auska was like, alright. Then she lost it. She lost the match. It was pretty slow pace, the match. Wasn't expecting a slow paced match from them, because they both, like, do pretty fast paced matches. But pretty good match. Nothing special. This The second night wasn't really anything special. But, yeah, Rhea Ripley is the new Raw Women's Champion. Good for her. Good for her. She's really good. She's a new girl. She's strong and attractive. You know, just like what a women's wrestler should be. Well, attractive not really required, but it's just like a plus. Strong and attractive, that's like a great thing, you know. The moment you've all been waiting for, the main event. The main event was Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan for the Universal Championship. And Roman Reigns was the Universal Champion. And that was the best match on the show. It wasn't really much of a challenge. The show wasn't like too crazy. It wasn't too amazing. But yeah, Roman Reigns won. It was a good match. There's cool spots. There's this one spot where Roman Reigns was in 2 submissions. Edge had him in like a crossface. Then he had like a pipe against like on his mouth, and that looked like it hurt a lot. Then Daniel Bryan came in, did the yes lock. And I'll show the clip. But yeah, Roman Reigns won because Jey Uso came in, distracted Edge, and then Roman Reigns speared Edge and put Edge on Daniel Bryan, then pinned them both, just to show how dominant he is. It was a win-win-win situation for that, because they're all good wrestlers and they all should have it, you know. But I was just hoping for Edge to have it. But like it's guaranteed that he's gonna get the championship, just a world championship one day. It's guaranteed. It might be at SummerSlam or I don't know. It might be at SmackDown, something like that. I think it's gonna be at SummerSlam. They might do like a steel cage match or something like that. So there can't be any outside interference. And I don't know what they're gonna do with Daniel Bryan, but I think they're gonna continue this Edge and Roman Reigns rivalry, which is cool. Like spear versus spear, amazing. So ultimate review of the show wasn't as good as night 1. I think night 1 is so hard to compete with. That was such a good pay-per-view, but it wasn't as good as night 1. I think night 1 was infinitely better, but I was more excited for night 2 because just the matches seemed more important. But night 1 was better. So I'm gonna rank them from best to worst like I did last time, and I won't forget any this time. I didn't even notice I forgot any when I was ranking them in the video, because I edited it twice. Like I looked over it and I was like, oh, I forgot Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley, but I also forgot Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon. I won't forget any this time though. So the best match, definitely Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan versus Edge. Second best match, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Second best match. Then Sheamus versus Riddle. Then Auska versus Rhea Ripley. Then Then Tamina and Natalya versus Nyah Jax and Shayna Baszler. Then Apollo versus Biggie. Didn't really like that match. Then Randy Orton versus Fiend. Yeah, ultimately, pretty disappointing. Slow pace. Nothing amazing. But still, WrestleMania. So cool. So I'm gonna go now. Like the video if you want. You don't have to like it. Like, I'm not a YouTuber. Like, I'm not a professional YouTuber. But liking would be nice. I'd appreciate it. Just to see someone liked it enough to like it would really, really help with my mental health right now. I'm just playing. I don't have anything going on with me right now. But yeah, subscribe. 1 subscriber equals a new subscriber to me. And if you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't, subscribe. I'm gonna head out. Stay here actually, because as we found out in the last video, my bed's right here now. So yeah, ring light, everybody. Say hi to ring light. Can't say it. You can't see it right now, but say hi to it. Hey, ring light. I'm using that more now because it really makes me look sexy. Really sexy.